Hi everyone. Today is Saturday, the week after I was in Washington, and I am in the process of finishing up some correspondence from some of the staffers. I got a lot of emails to go through, so I'm working on Saturday, trying to get all their answers returned. I also am now in the process of getting some more details on the information on the projects that I'm working on. Uh, Doing a lot of research, a lot of time looking at statistics over the last 30 years, um, going over the percentages of people that have been on different types of welfare programs, the percentages of people on Social Security disability, the birth rates with people who are born with disabilities. Also, looking over a lot of job statistics, the number of people that are hired who have classify themselves as having a disability, percentages of local state agencies like vocational rehabilitation that have been successful with putting people into job placement. And I'm working with some agencies to get me statistics on the the number of people that are seeking identification because they don't have any. This includes some domestic violence intervention programs. This deals with some homeless shelters. There's actually a nationwide network that tries to keep track of this stuff. I'm going to try to get some more information out there, so in case anyone is working with the homeless, they want to access this information, it helps them get off the street. I will try to forward that information as I get it developed, because right now it's very sporadic. The information is there, but you have to um, do a little research to get access to anything that makes any sense. So, like I said, one of my goals is to try and help people that are in absolute need of getting assistance, the proper assistance they need in an efficient manner, so they can get back to the workforce. Because no one can support themselves using the welfare system by itself. It was not meant as a means of support, and the only way to get these people in a position of stability and security is getting them gainful employment, and that is my goal. I'm also working on going over the statistics of people getting off of the welfare program, and what I'm calling it a relapse now, because I really don't know a better word to use for people who get off welfare for a short period of time, then have to go back onto it due to financial hardship again. And I'm trying to target the specific causes of that financial hardship. I have my suspects, but I'm trying to actually put down in the numbers, because my next meeting with congressional leaders is coming up at the end of March. I've gotten a lot of callbacks, and now we're getting down to some nitty gritty. The bills I'm going to be proposing have to be encompassing. They have to involve a lot of different things, not just one aspect. I have to have a lot of things so I get a lot of support. And I have to get support from both Republicans and Democrats, so it has to be something that they can both stomach. And there can be things that they both don't like. This is just how it works, because the only way the center wins is if the outer fringes give up something. It's called, negotiating. It's part of compromising. Again, that's what the country has been based on since history, is the ability to compromise. A little bit on the political stuff. John McCain, you are on the border of ridiculous. Um, Federal law does not allow for independent senators and Congress in general to make foreign policy decisions. Even if you are the chair of the Foreign Policy Committee, you are not the commander in chief. You are not the president of the United States, and your powers and ability to determine foreign policy are limited. If you try to establish foreign policy, much like the way states are barred from being able to conduct foreign policy, so are you. And in fact, some of the problems that Flynn got into, I believe that Senator McCain could also be on the verge of violating. The Constitution is kind of strict on this. It basically says that the president does foreign policy. If you are a member of Congress, either the Senate or the House, you do not. You can go over different types of bills. You can approve funding, not approve funding, but actual foreign policy decisions is not your role. And John McCain, I am telling you right now, you need to knock it off. You are not helping. You are causing more problems than anything else, and you are fanning the flames of our inability to be able to create dialogue and solve issues on a global level. The United States should not and really cannot solve every problem in the world on its own. It never has been able to. That's why the League of Nations was started. That's why Wilson pushed for it so much. And even though the United States did not join the League of Nations against Wilson's wishes, it did still exist and did try to function. And after the League of Nations failed to prevent World War II, the world also decided, including Roosevelt and Truman, that the United Nations needed to exist so that the world together could deal with global problems. That included all five of the big five, including Russia and China, because the United States and the West, even though they have a lot of great ideas and should be encouraged with the ideas and trying to spread their democracy, they do not always have the best answers, and they do not always understand the specifics of the cultures that they are dealing with. And then recently, I'm getting angry at the fact that the United States thinks they know everyone's best interests better than they do. All right. One of the reasons why I think the Republicans are winning so many seats in Congress on the grassroots level is that people want to have a little bit more self-determination. They want to be able to have the states to have more of the decision-making process, and they themselves have more of the decision-making process. And for the example of the state of Iowa with their bargaining bill that just passed the House and Senate and was signed into law by Terry Branstad is proof that people are sick and tired of having other people make more of their decisions for them. So, even though I don't necessarily agree with that bill, I think the fact that they're push so much of this through is testament that people are tired of having so many things above them make their decision making for them. And I think the U.S. is beginning to have that same problem with trying to tell other people what's in their best interest without really even knowing anything about them. So, John McCain, knock it off. For the rest of the Republicans in the Senate and the House that are praising and complaining about all the foreign intervention into American elections, how about the 1953 intervention into Persia, where the United States got involved? How about the 1991 and 2003 intervention in Iraq? How about Gaddafi? How about how the United States decided that Kosovo was just going to be its own nation now, without the much of the import of the Serbians, who technically controlled the territory, and it was an area of refuge for Albanian refugees that came into the Yugoslavia during Tito's reign. What gives the United States the ability to tell other countries that you're surrendering part of your territory to another for them to be independent? Really? And you're going to give Canada was going to give Quebec a chance to be independent. The United Kingdom was going to allow Scotland to vote independent, but the Crimean Peninsula can't make its own decision. If you like the Russians or not, that's not my problem. That's not my point here. But I don't think it's the United States it should not be the United States' position in the world to tell other countries and other peoples in this world who should and should not control, who should not govern them. They voted. Now, unless you want to be able to prove with absolute certainty and no doubt at all that election was absolutely fraudulent, back off. There are more important things that this country needs to work on than who's going to be in control of the Crimea. Do you really want to go to war with Russia over this? They have already stated there is no absolute way to get the Russians out of the Crimea without a military option. Now, I'm not signing up for that. I don't think any American servicemen are going to sign up for that, and I sure in the heck know the Germans aren't. So what is your point? What are you going to push this for? Are you trying to get brownie points with who? Back off! If you want to make a difference in this world, make this country better. Let them deal with their own issues. Because right now we're on no ground to say that we know better, because we can't even feed our own people. Our education system is failing. Most of the jobs here, no one has really any job security. Unions or no unions, the security is only there as long as the company decides they're not going to lock up the doors. Unions can't prevent that. What are they going to do? Pick it outside of an empty building? There has to be negotiations, there has to be a discussion, but blaming other countries for our problems is not the answer. Hillary Clinton said that the United States has had a great system because we have had free and fair elections. Even though I do not believe that has been entirely true, especially after the election in 1960, where in Chicago there were more people who cast ballots than were actually alive. So yeah, there are some issues there, and maybe we should address that. But blaming other countries for our problems is not the way to go, and I think that John McCain needs to take his seat. As far as Flynn, you're going to have to prove in a court of law that he broke the law. There's not enough evidence. Yeah, so he spoke about possible foreign policy changes. Are you saying it's a bad thing that Russia didn't retaliate against the American diplomats in Moscow when Obama clearly expelled the Russian ambassadors and Russian diplomats? I mean, heck, we should be giving Flynn a medal for a good diplomacy, keeping relations with a country that we just told to go stick it. The United States has a lot to learn. Are we the youngest country in the world? No, we're not. In fact, the United States government predates the government of Germany, predates the government of Italy, predates the government of Russia, predates the government of the Koreas, predates the government of China, predates the government of most African nations. Hell, we predate the government of Canada, we predate the government of Mexico, and the Japanese government has been extensively changed since 1945. The United States government and the United States Constitution is one of the longest standing documents and governments on this country today, in this world today. So it works within the system. It works. Clearly it works if you work within it and you try to change things from the way the system is designed. Okay, I'm clearly triggered at this point, so I'm signing off. Pick up a book and read constitutional law. Quit watching the news, CNN or Fox News. I'm sick of both of them. Find out what the truth actually is. Research it yourself. Look up the Constitution. It's online. In fact, I was just in the Capitol building. They have so many different copies of the Constitution. I mean, you could probably build a model of the Capitol building just out of copies of the Constitution. Look up some of the decisions that have been passed through the Supreme Court saying what the president can and cannot do. As far as determining who cannot enter the country, that law has changed considerably since it was first incepted. Find out the changes that have gone through it and what the president can and cannot do legally. At that point, challenge those. Should there be a Muslim ban? No. But was that ban against Muslims specifically as because they were Muslim? No. It was with countries who did not have really good, effective ways of having documentation for their citizens. Some countries I don't even agree with should have been on that list, like Iran. Iran actually does have pretty good records of their people and shouldn't really have met the criteria of that list. Countries like North Korea and Venezuela, whose passports are most often forged than not, should have been on the list. But countries like Libya that are classified as a failed state, whose documentation is little to none to verify who you are, that you are actually Syrian, yeah, that is a problem. They probably shouldn't be able to freely come over here unless we've already determined and verified who they are. So that means that that green card holders and citizens that are now citizens of this country should not be inhibited from entry, as long as we can verify they weren't over there causing problems or becoming radicalized. One of the things with the Iraqi travel ban for refugees that President Obama put into action was because so many Iraqis had become refugees, but before had become radicalized, or they had gone back to Iraq, become radicalized, and they returned to the United States to cause problems. The Chelsea bombing is one of those examples. So maybe we should have a more comprehensive approach versus left and right on this, because clearly Trump has some points that make sense, not all of them, and we need to address the ones that they don't, and to say we need to go over this because this isn't going to work for us as a whole. Now the whole immigration, walk out if you're an immigrant. What a way to show the country that they should work with you if every time that you don't agree with what's going on, you decide to walk off. And you know what? If this is going to be the United States, you want to live in the United States, maybe you should march around carrying U.S. flags, not the Mexican flag. I doubt anyone could go down to Mexico City and run around with the flag of the United States and say, listen to me, my voice matters. Your voice does matter. And I think if you went down to Mexico City with the U.S. flag, your voice should matter there too. But if you want to get people to listen to you, then you need to participate within the system. I think people that are here, even if they are here illegally, now this is my personal opinion, shouldn't be deported. But they should have to go through a process to become legal, and they should start paying taxes. I think they should be issued a tax ID number to allow them to pay taxes, but bars them from paying the Social Security at this current time until they become legally and lawfully citizens of the United States. That would solve everything. They do have to go through the line as everyone else, but they will start paying taxes. That is the cost for being here illegally, is that you shouldn't have to start paying federal taxes, yet you will not receive any benefits until you've acquired the citizenship and have maintained citizenship and residency in the United States for 5 continuous years. That, I think, is the best solution to deal with the illegal immigrants and the people that are here. Most of them are here for a better life. Fine, let them have that better life. But you know what? They also need to become citizens or become lawfully here. I agree with any means possible to make those who are not committing heinous crimes against the citizenry to be able to become lawful citizens or residents of the United States. But if you're out there peddling drugs, committing trafficking human beings, or committing other crimes against this country, you need to be deported immediately, without without a trial, without a hearing. You're gone. If you want to peddle drugs, you're gone. If you want to traffic human beings, you're gone. But if you want to come here and pay taxes and contribute to our society, you're more than welcome, and I will be the first to reach out my hand to you and welcome to America. Thank you and have a good day.